Well, hello. Welcome to day 3 of the e-learning. So just kind of talking about what we've been doing so far. Past 2 days of e-learning, we did skill 38 of verifying trig identity. So you were given the equation where you need to verify it. You start from the one side, do all the magic to get to the other side, and so on. And so far you've completed skill 38 IP in 2 different chunks for 2 different deadlines. So today we're going to do skill 39, that is solving trigonometry equation. For this lesson you will need a calculator, so go ahead and grab a calculator, pause the video, come back so you have your best friend calculator with you. Wow, it's kind of dirty here. Anyhow, yeah, so come back and we will start skill 39 lesson. Skill 39, solving trig equation. You might be wondering, Miss Major, didn't we do that before? Answer is yes, we have done it. Question that looks like this. However, as you flip through the notes, we are not going to do a simple example like that. We're going to make it more complicated. So something looks like sine of 2 theta equal to that. Well, we've never seen that before. Or when you have sine and cosine in the same equation. Or, square quadratic equation, quadratic, and so on. Okay, so just like skill 38, we're going to split this into 2 lessons. Do the first part for today and second part for next Tuesday. Is it? What, day 4. So let's review this question first. For a question like that, it's very important that you read the direction. Solve the equation in the box to the right, finding 2 values. That means you're going to have 2 answers of theta such that theta is greater than 0, less than 2 pi. As soon as you see this, you know that that's in what mode? Radian mode. And take your calculator, turn it on, make sure you have it in, I can't see this for a second, radian mode. Oh, and go back. Okay, so have it ready. Alright, sine of theta is 0.523. I'm going to go through how we learn in the steps. So step number 1, rewrite in terms of sine or cosine or tangent. Don't need to do it. Step number 2, determine what quadrant your angle terminates in. Notice that sine of theta is positive. That means your y value is going to be positive. Which quadrant do you have positive y values? First quadrant and second quadrant. So one answer is here, second answer comes from here. Now we are finding theta. This is not a value in the unit circle, so we need to do the inverse operation to find what the theta is. Inverse of sine of 0.523 is equal to theta. So let's go ahead and plug in your calculator. Second sine, so that makes the inverse of sine of 0.523. Enter, we get 0.550 as a theta, which you're like, oh, I'm freaking out. Wait, what? 0.550? How does that work? Well, quick review over here about radian. Guys, radian starts with 0 and it goes pi over 2. Pi if it goes in the positive direction. 3 half the pi, 1 full circle makes it 2 pi. In other words, 3.14, 1.57, oh, what's that? 4.71 and 6.28. Those are the numbers in those radians. So when you get 0.550, where would that, what quadrant would that terminate in? Probably in the first quadrant. Why? Because 0.550 is less than 1.5. And that makes sense because one of your answers is supposed to be in the first quadrant, so it is 0.550 as the answer, one of the answers. Now let's go ahead and find the second answer in the second quadrant. Well, remember guys, all these angles have the same reference angle. So if that's a 0.550, this reference angle is 0.550 as well. So how would I find the rest of it? Well, and if it's in degree, we do 180 minus the reference angle. However, this is in radian, so instead of 180, we're going to do pi minus 0.550. And don't use 3.14 though. So where's the pi button? Go to second pi minus 0.550. You get answer of 2.592 as a second answer, and that's what we did on skill 36, I think 35, I don't remember. So that's how we did it. Now what we're going to do is going to be very similar to what we did on the previous problem now, but notice instead of it being sine of theta, it says sine of 2 theta is this. Steps stay the same. Step number 1, rewrite everything in terms of sine and cosine and tangent. Done. Step number 2, determine the quadrant. Since sine of something is 2 theta is negative, that means y value is negative. Third and fourth quadrant. Go ahead and use the inverse operation on it. So inverse of sine of negative 0.792 is equal to 2 theta, not theta, 2 theta. Okay, so let's get my calculator out. Inverse of sine of negative 0.792. Then I get 2 theta is equal to negative 0.914. So guys, what are we trying to find? We're trying to find the theta by itself. What are you going to do to get the theta by itself? We are going to divide it by 2. Divide it by 2 to get theta by itself. Theta is equal to, I'm just going to leave your answer, divided by 2. Then theta, I get negative 0.457. Cool? Alright, so where is negative 4.57? That's probably, since it's a negative angle, we go clockwise. So this much is 0.457. We are trying to find the positive angle going the counterclock direction, this much. So how would I find this? The green angle. Let's see, if it's in degree, we do 360 minus the reference angle. However, this is radian. So instead of 360, we're going to do 2 pi minus 0.457 to get the answer of 2 pi minus 0.457. 5.826 as one of the answer, one of the angle. And how would I find the one in the third quadrant? It's going to be this much. Over from this example, we know the reference angle this much is 0.457. How would I find the whole angle? It's going to be pi plus 0.457. Pi plus 0.457. Pi plus 0.457. 3.599. So those are your two solutions. 3.599, 5.826. So really nothing new, just doing what we've been doing before. Right? Okay, so go ahead and pause the video, and I need you to try that problem on your own. Okay? And we'll go over it. Ta-da! There is the answer. So the answer is 5.834 and 2.692. How am I going to do it? I'm going to just quickly explain you. Since tangent of something is negative, that means y over x is negative, two opposite signs. So y and x are opposite signs. Where is that? Second quadrant, fourth quadrant. Second, fourth. Now we do the inverse operation, and since we want the theta, we divide by 2. We get theta of that. That's this much. Over here in the fourth quadrant, reference angle is 0.449. So the actual angle is going to be 2 pi minus that. Right there in the fourth quadrant. Second quadrant will be pi minus that. Cool? Alright. Up until now, we only have solved equation that contain a single trigonometry ratio. So it's always been like sine of theta is equal to something. Cosine of theta is equal to something. Cosecant of theta is equal to something. Very simple one. However, our life is not that easy, and sometimes we have more than one trig ratio into the equation. Then what are we going to do? Whenever we encounter, our goal is to first to see if we can rewrite the equation in terms of only one trig ratio. So please look at that first question over there. We have sine of theta is equal to square root of 3 cosine theta. What are we gonna do? Let's see. How can I move things around so that we only have one trig ratio? Do you guys see it? I see it. You're like, yeah, you're a math teacher. I don't see it. All right, guys. What if, so right now it's square 3 is being multiplied by cosine of theta. What if I get rid of that cosine theta? How are we going to get rid of that cosine theta? By dividing both sides by cosine theta. Then I get sine theta over cosine theta is equal to square root of 3. And then you're thinking, have you seen sine theta over cosine theta before? What is sine theta over cosine theta? It is tangent theta equal to square root of 3. Yay, now we have a one trig ratio, so we can actually go ahead and solve it. The procedure stays the same as the previous problem. So rewrite everything in terms of sine, cosine, tangent, done. Determine which quadrant, that means y over x is positive. Two are the same signs, right? So what quadrant do you have same x and same y signs? Both are positive, first quadrant. Both are negative, third quadrant. Go ahead and do inverse operation. So inverse of tangent of square root of 3 is equal to theta. I guess I didn't really tell you whether we are using in radian or degree. Let's go ahead and use it in radian. This one is actually one of the value on the unit circle. How do I know? Because I remember my skill 34 table. Which angle gives me the tangent value of square root of 3? That was pi over 3, the 60-degree one. So the first angle is going to be pi over 3. This is a unit circle. What's the angle in the third quadrant of denominator 3? 4/3 of a pi. So answer pi over 3, 4/3 of a pi. Oops. Super simple. Okay, now look at the right. 4 sine theta equal to cosecant theta. We have two trig ratios, so it's not good. Think about it. What can we do to make it one single trig ratio? I don't really like that cosecant, so let's just rewrite that as in terms of sine. So I'm going to write it as a 1 over sine theta first. And then now let's think. What are we going to do? What if I go ahead and multiply both sides by sine theta? Then I guess 4 sine squared theta is equal to 1. Yay, alright. We have a single trig ratio. Divide both sides by 4. Sine squared theta is equal to 1/4. Instead of treating this as a trigonometry equation, I kind of need you to treat this as an algebra problem. So think of this as a question something like x squared is equal to 1/4. What are you going to do? Well, that one is easy. You're just going to square root both sides. Same thing. We're just going to square root both sides to get sine of theta is equal to square root of 1/4 is half. However, guys, quadratic equation means how many answers? 2 answers. But that means 1 answer. What is wrong? Well, please remember that you need plus or minus in the front when you're square rooting, when you're solving quadratic equation. That's a key point there. Okay, so the first scenario we're going to look at sine of theta being positive half. Second scenario is going to be sine of theta equal to negative half, and you're going to do those separately. How do you do that? Well, remember skill 36, just like what we did over here. You're going to go through the whole step again. Y is positive, that means first and second quadrant, which theta gives you the y value of half on the unit circle. Let's see, that's the first angle, pi over 6. So we have pi over 6 as one of the answer, 5/6 of pi as a second answer for here. You also need to do over here. Y is negative, that means third and fourth quadrant. That's the 7/6 of pi in the unit circle. That's 11/6 of pi in the unit circle. So how many answers are there? 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 answers. Is that possible? Yes, it's possible. So that concludes today's lesson. Your IP will be, go to my haiku, download skill 39 IP. You only have 2 problems to work on, number 1 and number 2. Notice you're doing it without calculator, so I guess you don't need a calculator. And that means you're going to use a unit circle probably. It's going to be theta is greater than 1, 0 less than equal to 2 pi. So we are doing in radian. So good luck. Yeah, 1 and 2. And once you're done with it on a piece of paper, take a picture of that, upload it on my haiku under skill 39, number 1 and 2. All right, see you tomorrow. Good luck.